Imagine you are building a life and a company with the two people you trust most in the world. Your 7-year marriage seems perfect, and your business partner has been your friend for 2 decades. But then, everything changes. You decide to surprise your wife at work, and upon opening your partner's office door, you discover them together in a way that shatters everything you believed in. Suddenly, the world you built crumbles, leaving behind only betrayal and pain. How would you deal with this devastating discovery? Michael, a successful businessman, had always taken pride in his professional and personal accomplishments. Married for 7 years to Cleo, a vibrant and charming woman, he believed he had found the perfect partnership. Together, they shared not only a home, but also the management of a technology company they had built from scratch. Life seemed to be following the ideal course, until small changes in Cleo's behavior began to emerge. She was more distant, their conversations no longer had the same depth, and her smile seemed forced. Michael noticed, but preferred to believe these were just difficult phases of marriage, something temporary that would soon pass. Lately, Cleo was spending more time at the office than usual, always with the excuse that they were closing a big deal that could catapult the company to the next level. Michael trusted her and his longtime business partner, Thomas, whom he had known since college. The two had been loyal friends for 20 years, facing the ups and downs of the business world together. However, the frequency of these extra afternoons and evenings began to make Michael uneasy. He tried to convince himself that it was nothing more than dedication to work, but a small voice in his mind whispered doubts. The laughter echoing down the hallway as he passed Thomas's office, the glances exchanged between Cleo and Thomas that seemed too quick to be merely professional. All of this fueled his suspicions, though he desperately tried to ignore them. One night, Michael decided to surprise Cleo by bringing dinner to the office. Upon arriving, he found Thomas's office door closed, with muffled sounds that seemed like laughter coming from inside. With a sinking heart, he approached and slowly opened the door, only for his world to come crashing down. Cleo and Thomas were together in a way that left no doubt about the nature of their relationship. Michael froze for a moment, holding the tray of food that now seemed to weigh a ton. The laughter ceased as soon as they saw the door open, and Cleo's look of surprise and panic met Michael's gaze, mingled with pain and disbelief. He didn't need words. The scene before his eyes said it all, and the silence that followed was more deafening than any words could have been done. Devastated, Michael confronted them immediately. The raggedy explanations and rushed excuses only intensified his pain. He felt as if each of their words was a dagger piercing his betrayed heart even further. The sense of betrayal was amplified by the fact that these were the two people he trusted most. He left the office that night, leaving behind not only a marriage, but also a 2-decade-long friendship. Before leaving, Michael looked at Cleo and Thomas, his voice trembling with emotion. "How could you?" Tears threatened to fall, but he held them back, his expression hardened by hurt. Cleo tried to approach, touching his arm as she began to speak. "Michael, but he pulled away sharply, the pain of their betrayal making it impossible to hear any justification. In the days that followed, Michael struggled to maintain his composure and his company. The scandal of the betrayal reverberated through the entire team, creating a tense and uncomfortable work environment. Michael found himself isolated, grappling with the betrayal and the simultaneous loss of his wife and best friend. His once so integrated and prosperous personal and professional life now seemed irreparably fragmented. He spent long periods in his office, staring at papers without really seeing them, lost in thoughts and memories of better times. In an effort to find some order amidst the chaos, he began reorganizing projects and restructuring teams, desperately trying to salvage what was left of his professional life while his personal life crumbled. With a broken heart and shaken spirit, Michael decided to seek professional help. He began attending therapy sessions, trying to understand and process the betrayal that had shattered his life. In each session, he revealed more about his feelings of pain, anger, and an abandonment. The sessions, though painful, slowly began to offer him some comfort, a place to vent the turmoil he felt inside. His therapist, a wise woman with a soft voice, encouraged him to voice his pain, not to repress it. "It's important to acknowledge and accept your feelings in order to heal," she would say, as Michael struggled to find a way through his grief and betrayal. Meanwhile, Cleo tried several times to contact Michael, sending messages and attempting to call. She wanted to explain herself, to apologize, perhaps to try to rebuild something she knew was deeply damaged. However, each attempt at contact only reignited Michael's anguish. He was not ready to listen, still unable to see beyond the betrayal. Every message she left went unanswered, every call ignored. On one particularly difficult night, Cleo left a long voicemail, her voice choked with emotion. "Michael, I know I made an immense mistake. I would give anything to go back and do things differently. Please, I'm just asking for a chance to explain to you." But even this message, laden with remorse, found no space in Michael's wounded heart. Thomas also tried to apologize, explaining that he never meant to hurt Michael. He sent letters, emails, trying to explain his feelings and how things had spiraled out of control. However, to Michael, these attempts seemed like empty justifications. The betrayal of such a close friend was a blow that Michael had difficulty comprehending, and he felt unable to forgive or forget. In one of the letters, Thomas wrote, "I know what I did was unforgivable, and I deeply regret every pain I caused. If there is any way to make amends, I am willing to do whatever it takes." But these words, though full of remorse, seemed little to heal the open wounds in Michael's heart. As time passed, the company began to suffer the consequences of the rift between the partners. Important projects started to fall behind schedule, and dissatisfied clients expressed their concerns. The atmosphere in the office was gloomy. Employees felt the tension and discomfort that permeated the walls of the place that had once pulsed with energy and innovation. It was evident that the company Michael and Thomas had so carefully built was starting to disintegrate. In a tense meeting with the team, Michael tried to convey confidence, but his words sounded forced. "We're facing challenges, but we'll overcome them," he said, though his own voice betrayed his uncertainty. Feeling unable to continue working with Thomas and seeing his own mental well-being deteriorate, Michael made a difficult decision. He chose to sell his share of the company and walk away from everything that was causing him pain. It was a bitter decision, marking the end of a significant chapter in his life. He hoped that by distancing himself, he could find some sort of peace and begin to rebuild his life, away from the painful memories the office now evoked. On his last day, as he emptied his desk, Michael found an old photo of the three of them smiling after closing their first major deal. With tears in his eyes, he tore the photo to pieces, a symbolic gesture of closing an era he never imagined would end this way. After selling his share of the company, Michael left for a retreat in a small coastal town, seeking a fresh start away from the memories that haunted him on every corner of his former life. The town, known for its beautiful beaches and welcoming community, seemed the perfect place to heal his wounds and rebuild his shattered spirit. He rented a small house overlooking the sea, allowing the tranquility of the waves to bring him some comfort. Sometimes, sitting on the porch, gazing at the horizon where the sky met the sea, Michael reflected on the twists and turns of his life, pondering the choices and mistakes everyone makes today. In the early months, Michael devoted himself to activities he never had time for before, like painting and writing. He spent long hours in front of the easel or with his notebook, trying to express through the arts the turmoil he felt inside. This creative expression became a therapy, helping him pour out the pain and sense of betrayal that consumed him. Every brushstroke and every written word were ways of unraveling and understanding his emotions, one step at a time. Often he would pause, observe his works, and see in them the reflection of his journey, a man trying to rebuild himself from the fragments of his former life. While Michael found some solace in his new life, Cleo and Thomas faced the harsh realities of their actions. The company continued to struggle without Michael's leadership, and the relationship between them began to show signs of strains. Without Michael's presence to mediate and propel the business forward, petty disputes arose frequently, further deteriorating the already fragile partnership. On one tense afternoon, Cleo confronted Thomas about declining sales and the loss of major clients, accusing him of not dedicating himself enough. Thomas in turn fired back, pointing out that the lack of trust between them had become an insurmountable obstacle to success. Arguments became a constant, reflecting the fragmentation of not just a partnership, but also a once valuable friendship. As time went on, Michael began making new friends in the small town. He met people from various walks of life, each with their own unique story. These new connections brought fresh perspectives and gradually helped him see that life could be rebuilt, even after devastating betrayals. He began to feel a renewal in his heart, a cautious hope that perhaps, just maybe, he could find happiness again. On one sunny afternoon, as he shared stories with a new fisherman friend on the beach, Michael realized how much these new friendships were helping reshape his worldview and his own identity. Yet the shadow of betrayal still loomed over him. Some nights, dreams brought back the painful memories, and he would awake feeling as though the betrayal had happened just yesterday. On those nights, the beach became his refuge, where he would walk under the starlight, reflecting on his past and pondering his future. Despite the new beginnings, the journey toward true healing still seemed long and uncertain. Michael understood that the path ahead was solitary and challenging, but he also knew that each step on the cool beach sand was a step towards overcoming and renewing his own life. Over time, Michael learned to accept that some wounds take longer to heal, and that forgiveness, even if never fully achieved, could be a path to peace. He never saw Cleo or Thomas again after his departure, but occasionally heard news through mutual acquaintances that the company the three of them had built together had finally closed its doors. As he walked along the beach reflecting on the twists and turns of his life, Michael realized that despite it all, he had found a new strength and resilience. The sound of the waves crashing on the shore echoed as a gentle reminder that, like the sea, life goes on, shaping new beginnings with every tide. He was ready to face whatever the future held, with a slightly more healed heart and a renewed spirit. And you, what would you do in Michael's place? Share what you would do, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to keep following more stories like this one. Life has unexpected challenges in store for us, and sometimes the people closest to us are the ones who surprise us in the worst way. I'll see you in a new story.